Hi, good afternoon to you all. Welcome back to Firestarter podcast. As I have tried to promise, and we've been working on it, the winter has come in Kenya. It's a bit cold, but trying to keep warm here with our sessions. Last time rather, I promised a special guest, and we have her right next to me. And in spirit of that, I'd just like to say that I have kept my promise, and I hope you enjoy today's session, as it's going to be something along the lines of power to the women. And I'd just like to also reiterate or maybe explain the fact that we have a lot of ripples of the last few weeks and maybe even this year regarding giving more opportunities to marginalized groups. I wouldn't call women a marginalized group, but maybe in the sense of how we can get them more involved, not only in positions of power, but positions of industry, positions of workmanship, and so many other aspects. But to cut it short, first we want to do a recap because we do condense a lot of information in our sessions, and I'd like Prof to maybe recap on our engaging talks that we had last time, and I'd like to let these ladies take it away.
Thank you, Daniel, for the introduction. And what I need to do now is to talk about how technology has evolved over the past few years. Last time we talked about internet when it came in the 90s, which was basically known as Web 1.0. Then that changed, it became mobility, which was Web 2.0. The characterization of Web 2.0 was largely the use of social media platforms, and also some of Web 1.20, especially search engines like Google, had started to amass a huge amount of data to the extent that everybody in the world began to be scared about this data that was being collected without their permission. And because of that, now we're having what we call the blockchain phase, the new cycle of innovation. In this space, it's going to be characterized by a space where people can control their own data and even decide whether they want to monetize it or not. So Web 3.0 mostly is going to give us the power to control our own data, because it has a way that you can be able to maintain your data, and if someone wants it for research, they can formally ask it from you to provide it, either at a price or a donation to those who are doing the research. So this is a very exciting period that we are getting into, and we need most people to begin to understand basically what blockchain would be. Some of the definitions is that it's a distributed ledger system, which is very robust with respect to cybersecurity, meaning that it's not very easy to destroy data in blockchain silos. And that's some of the benefits that we are going to see going forward.
Thank you so much, Prof, for the recap. Let's jump into our topic for today, which is women in blockchain. And my first question goes to you, Yvonne. What are some of the factors hindering women from being in this industry?
Okay, thank you very much for the question, Lisa. So, first of all, we have systemic factors where traditionally, even in the formal workspace, we have very few women. We haven't really achieved the 50-50 goal of men to women ratio. So it's in the traditional institutions like banking, insurance, and the likes. So from that, we go to the next level, which is the tech world. Blockchain is very popular with developers and also traders, which by themselves, the two of them are male dominated. So when you combine the two, we get the limited slots that women are occupying, because most of them are sort of afraid to, just for lack of a better word. They're not venturing into the space. We don't have enough women traders in stock market. We don't have enough women developers in Web 2 or Web 1. So by that, we don't have enough women in the blockchain space. Also, another factor is that women are very risk averse. Crypto and blockchain and Web3 is known to be very volatile. We've seen this year, we've had the bear market where the price has rapidly dropped, and this has made a lot of people, male and female, to shy away from the blockchain world. So those are three factors that have prevented women from venturing into the space.
Prof, I'd like to know what are some of the factors hindering women from participating in the industry, and when that is happening, how does that affect our economy in Kenya?
Thanks once again. Indeed, from several studies, women are discriminated in the ICT sector. Although from the outside it looks like nobody stops them from playing a major role in this sector, the systems, like the cultural systems, sometimes block them. And some of them are by design, where men would come home and either take a newspaper or a computer to do something while the women are cooking or looking after the children. So culture is one of the biggest problems with respect to hindering women from benefiting from these changes that we have in technology. Also, because in financial terms, women are not as endowed as men, because men have controlled resources since time immemorial. So probably they cannot have the resources to invest in a computer, for example. I have personally donated laptops to different women who said, if I have it, I can be able to do work online and be able to take care of the family, which means that men have access to resources, they are able to do it. If you look at any home where the men have invested in telecommunications gadgets, you mostly find the man has a smartphone, the wife has a feature phone, which is a direct translation that women are discriminated by cultural practices that we have. And because of that, we undermine our economic development. Because economies grow because of the improvement in productivity. The way I can explain that is that previously it used to take us a lot of time to go and get the passport, for example. You have to go to Nyayo House from wherever you are staying and probably go there 4 times, and you spend a lot of money doing that. Nowadays you fill that online and then you follow up until the passport is ready. You don't have to go there. If women don't have the necessary smartphones or laptops, they are not able to do activities that would improve the productivity of the nation and be able to be part of economic development. So we need to enable them so that they can fully participate in the economy. That is where the problem is. And for us to do that, we must change structural issues like cultural practices which have stood in the way of advancement of women.
Are there any campaigns or empowerment campaigns that help to bring women in this industry?
Yes, I am currently the founder of Kenya Blockchain Ladies DAO, which is a safe space. We call it a safe space for women in blockchain in Kenya. We get our inspiration from chamas. Chamas in Kenya, the traditional, I don't want to call them traditional, but the women in Kenya who organize themselves in chamas and bring financial empowerment to our homes, to our families. And you could find a woman is a housewife, yet she's doing so well financially because of the empowerment of those chamas. So what we do at the Kenya Blockchain Ladies Town, we are comprised of pioneers in the space. We are quite few. We are very few who have been in the space for quite a number of years, and mentees, women who are interested in venturing and creating and building themselves in the blockchain space. We have women such as myself who are community builders, community managers. We have traders, we have developers, and we sort of pull down the rope to bring them up into the space, because sometimes there's fear in the women. They say, where do I start? Where do I start when I want to venture into blockchain? If I trade, will I lose money? As I mentioned earlier, women are very risk averse. So we sort of mentor them, and we give them roles, we give them jobs where we train them. It's some roles we train them while we pay them, just to empower them, to bring them to the space, because blockchain has a lot of benefits and it has a lot of opportunities for women, and we try to encourage them to come over. Yeah.
And for you personally as a woman, how did you start being in the industry, and how are you maneuvering in this male-dominated industry?
As a woman, I started just out of curiosity. I did my undergraduate in financial economics, and I tried to combine it with software development. And merging the two gave birth to blockchain. And so I got the interest earlier on, but I struggled, as most women do. When I was in developer school, I struggled with developer roles. And when I was in finance, there are concepts that I struggled with, but when I merged the two, I found my safe space. How I have been able to maneuver is that first, I don't try to compete with men. I've never tried that, and I always tell my girls, when you are a woman in a room full of men, you don't try to be a man. Be a woman. You're the rose in the room. You're the flower in the room. So be feminine. Use your femininity to maneuver, to grow in the space. So while I'm there, I don't try to be, I'm not a very good developer. I'm good at front end, but not in the back end. So when I have the guys there, like there's a developer studio that I work with called Jolly Developers. When I have the guys there, I'm always empowering them, telling them, are you struggling with this? What do you need me to do? Do you need better design? As a woman, I leverage from what the virtues that I have to grow in the space. That's what has kept me ahead. That's what has made my name grow, because that's basically it. Yeah.
Prof, why is it important for women to be in this industry?
It is important because women are generally more than men. They are a very critical cog in economic development, simply because in places where women have participated, you find that the efficiency levels are much higher. Look at agriculture, for example. Without women, we would have a lot of problems in generally Africa. Women spend a lot of time. They take care of children. They are the larger population in many of the sectors that we have. So we can't afford to leave such a huge population outside of ICTs. Look at, for example, healthcare. The women are disproportionately represented in that space. Health is becoming more of a technology-driven industry. We need them there. We need women. It so happens that men don't live longer. If you look at life expectancies in every county, for example, the life expectancy in Kenya for women is at 66, and the life expectancy for men is 63. So if you want to develop this economy, women are a critical cog. That's why we must get them the necessary education and prepare them to be part of the economy. What probably that is key, women are critical in every aspect. I'll give you a very good example. That women who've gone to college usually have like an average of 3 kids. Women at high school who drop out, there normally five kids. Women who drop out of primary school, they get more than 10 kids on average. That's a huge burden to the economy. So we actually need women to have education, to reduce the population and improve the quality of life for many people. That's how we can reduce poverty. Poverty is not just pumping money into the women, as many children as you have. There are so many strategies that you can use to reduce poverty. They are very critical to the reduction of poverty in this country.
And how can we increase participation of women in the industry? Maybe you can take turns in answering this.
I could start, but because I also want to answer the question that Prof has answered, the importance of women venturing to blockchain. Blockchain is a very startup-focused industry. There are quite a number of startups. So there are 50% ideally 50% of the population is female. So 50% of targeted consumers are going to be women. So when startups are thinking of their target markets, they have to think about women in the space. So for them to maximize their returns, they have to incorporate and educate the woman, as Prof has said. They have to think of the female consumer, and also women are also big influencers of how the finances are to be spent in the families, and they influence men's decisions. I'm sure Prof can affirm that. And I always say that when you empower the woman, you empower the society. When you educate the woman, you've educated the society. So it's very important that we make sure that we bring women into the blockchain space so that we can, grow in a wholesome manner.
I can go so that there are so many ways of actually doing it, especially now. Because content is very key, and I've done this in some of my students, where you play around, go online, develop this. So it empowers, but it is also fun. It is something they do, they get satisfied. So we need to use more other technologies which are more entertaining, to bring in like edutainment, so that you advance their knowledge from where they are, because it's very boring to teach someone to do something in Word, for example, but it is very interesting to get someone into virtual reality, show them. They will spend more time there to learn. We actually need to develop content in the emerging tech, which is more interesting, to make it more interesting for them to begin to move more into that space. Yeah. Number two, we must begin to do it deliberately, where men begin to understand that for women, for them to succeed, women have to succeed also as a family. So men have to, we have to have education to change behavior. We have never done that, but it has to be deliberate or weaved into educational systems that God created as equal first. And whatever we need to function in society, each one of us has to get the equal opportunities. We don't talk about equal opportunities for all the sexes. What has been happening is we focus on the girl child. Now men are complaining, or men are failing because they were not we didn't focus on them. So for me, I think the best way to get women into the space, the new space, which is going to require a lot more content, which is going to require a lot more interesting things, which entice people to get online. So we need to do more. Those of us who have the capacity to do it, we must get together and begin to build things that will make it interesting. For example, YouTube. A lot of people are on YouTube because if I want to cook githeri differently, I can get many versions of githeri online. That entices you to go online. You can start with githeri today, but in the next few years, you are learning very complex things online. That's why, that's my views about how do we get more women online.
Yeah. What are some of the tips that you can give to a woman out there who is really willing to be in this industry but is kind of shy or is being discouraged by other people?
Okay. So what I'd encourage them to do, first, our DA is very open. We take in ladies as long as of all ages. Actually, we don't care about age, and what we require them to do is like be proactive to pursue the opportunities in the space, and they have to be hardworking. And what I usually say that when you're targeting a minority group, in this case, women in blockchain are a minority group because we are around 6% of the works of the people in the blockchain industry. So when targeting a minority group, we have to structure how we're targeting them based on what appeals to them. So what we do at the Kenya Blockchain Ladies DAO, we start them off with simpler roles, and we also use the Andela model where we train them while paying them. So we start them off with simpler roles like community management, event organizing, and from this they sort of develop an interest, and then we bring them forward to the more technical roles. If they are not comfortable with it, to say okay, but we have found ladies who are very comfortable with developer roles, front end, back end, Solidity, coding. Then we go forward and train them on trading. And that has created a lot of interest with women, and we have seen them improving a lot. Some of them actually say, you know, I don't want to pursue blockchain. And we've had ladies who've used blockchain as sort of, because there's so many opportunities for them to earn. We have a lady who used the money that she got from blockchain and invested outside and made a salon, which was very amazing. You know, you don't really have to focus there. So I would encourage them to, you know, join our DAO and also seek mentorship, even if it's not from us. Like she can always, you know, there are many mentors, female mentors in this space, even male mentors, by the way. And be proactive while seeking them, be interested. And it's not that hard, really. Just getting started is not that hard. And if we have made it and we have maneuvered, many other women can. Yeah.
I think also one area is demand for some of the things they're doing. They don't need to know this is blockchain or what is happening. Say, for example, we create a marketplace for women because we had something at the University of Nairobi which worked so well with women, but you can create the space for them to be able to play at the front end, while at the back end you are building a very robust system that would help them, as I said, like the marketplace, where they can find the market for their products. You don't need to show them what's happening at the back end. And that would actually pull most of them to the space where they begin to ask questions and eventually would understand what technologies are helping them. It is not, you can't just talk about blockchain because it works with so many other technologies, IoT, for example, or artificial intelligence, which is very critical. It has made so many people succeed, but they combine it with blockchain to be able to succeed. For example, building supply chains, which is very critical to women, especially women in the rural areas. They don't need to know what is happening at that, but you have AI solution, you have a blockchain solution, and that way we would increase the participation in that space. Later on now we can talk about how blockchain has helped women to streamline the supply chain, and they have made so much money from this space.
That's it for our video today. Maybe Yvonne, you can tell us where people can find you on social media.
Okay, you can find me. You can find me on Twitter at Kagondu_Yvonne. Also on LinkedIn, Instagram, everywhere Yvonne Kagondu. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you guys for coming. Yeah, please like, subscribe and share, and also watch our previous videos that we have done. Thank you. Bye.